early in the week that you guys would have to make some changes, personnel-wise, to adapt to what you had.
Absolutely.
How did the guys handle that? Jakai, it sounds like he hadn't played outside in a long time, and just how did they handle that part of just preparation?
Good thing about it, we had some guys with some familiarity, like it wasn't like new for him. Jakai had done it before, Sean had done it before, our tight ends had been featured, so it was just more adjusting to more reps at a different position, but they knew what to do. It was just getting the reps at it again, kind of reminding yourself of it. So once they settled, but I thought, guys stepped up when we needed them to step up, and and as the game went, I think as we figured out better how they were attacking us on defense, guys were able to showcase their ability.
Let's go back to Ivor real quick.
Coach Norvell made the comment about Jordan that he makes the other 10 guys better. I think that's probably as good a compliment as you can give a quarterback. How does he do that? Like, what are some of the ways he makes everybody else better?
First of all, it's just distributing the ball. I mean, he's not a favorite target type of quarterback. I mean, he's gonna give whatever the defense is dictating, and he trusts the guys around him. We know who our good players are, and we design things to make sure they get the ball. But when the defense is being strategic and taken away, he's not a forced quarterback. And he knows how to avoid negatives and bad situations. Even on some plays, a sack isn't a bad play because it can be a lot worse. So I think his poise and calmness and able to take what the defense is giving him keeps everybody around him happy, because when a guy knows that he's open or he knows the coverage is dictating, he anticipates getting the ball. And if you have a quarterback that's not doing that, that's forcing it into a person, you can get into some trouble. So our guys have a lot of trust in him, and he shows he can get the ball where it needs to go.
Chris?
Cash down situation, short yardage. Is there a common theme on why that's been a little bit of an obstacle, especially against Pitt? Or do you just believe it was one game off?
No, I mean, a couple of runs. I know I talked to Trey. He'd like to have one of them back, fourth down. He wanted to get that one back. He thought he could have made a different cut. We got to be cleaner on execution. I thought Jordan did a good job on the sneak to get us in. Just different situations. On one of them, I think we took one. I can't remember the exact one, but no, I think Pitt did a good job of, they fired those gaps. We had it planned with Darius on one where we were going to be able, we thought we were going to play tight 3 techniques and we were going to be able to knock the 3 techniques over. We played a little loose and they were firing those inside linebackers, which caused, using that technique is not good for that. So once we adjusted it, and because he missed the first one, it was actually 1st and 10 and went to show yards, but it would have been the same situation. We had to adjust the technique that we were using on the backside of zone combos where we couldn't be out there like we thought. We had to go more zone style. So I think once we got adjusted and calmed, and it got better. But that was the only one I thought, we probably could have had that one back, was that one. The rest of them, I don't remember anything particular, like more just decision, or we could have been better in the situation and put them in a better situation. Better call, better leverage and things like that.
Brendan?
It seemed like the tight ends were fairly productive last week or this past weekend, especially some of the wide receivers. I guess what about that group allows them to be so dynamic at times in the passing game?
They're good players. They get a lot more of the single coverages. A lot of people don't double the tight ends. We got 3. I would venture to say it's not many people that have 3 tight ends with the receptions. We got some guys that can go do it with Cal, Jaheim, and Markeston, so we can interchange those guys. So I think it's a value of having 3 and possibly more in our offense that we can utilize and find advantage points too. But those guys got a good skill set. They got good ball skills. They can run. They can block. They can catch. So it's just whoever's in can give us whatever we need. But that's a very talented group and it's very deep.
Jordan?
Coach, you guys had an even 37 yards to 37 passes. How important is it for the offense to be balanced and to be 2-dimensional?
Yeah, I mean, we're very intentional on styles of attack. Now, I'm not saying we're up there saying we're going to have that. It's not going to be that exact. We're going to do whatever we got to do to win the game. But it's good because it can keep the defense off balance. If we can find success in both, that keeps them enough where they can't overload the box and they can't play deep coverage in the pass, and we got to pick our shots. But as long as we can have some uniqueness balances, it keeps the defense off balance where we can attack where they're not. I think that's what we really want to be. We want to say if they're loading the box, we got to be able to throw it. If they're not loading the box, we got to be able to run it. And then when you can't do one of those, if they're giving you a light box and you still can't run the ball, that's when you get in trouble. And that's where you see the offenses fail. So we've been having a fairly good balance to be able to stay productive in games on offense.
Justin?
How well is Jordan playing right now to be without 2 key receivers, 2 starters, be without 4 receivers total, and they're still holding up 360 yards against a talented Pitt defense in a tough game. How well is he playing right now?
Jordan's he's one of the best players in college football. I mean, there's a lot of guys would have came in those adverse moments and made excuses, or this is why and this is why not. And no, man, he came and he attacked it. He embraced the game plan, and he got the players the ball they needed to get it in complex situations, and he gave what the defense allowed him. I thought, the screen game was good big again with Rodney on one, and so we were able to keep balance. And he also used his legs a couple of times. He was a part of the run game and decision making. So, I mean, Jordan's a quarterback I think that's just so talented because whatever you're allowing, he can get to it. If you're allowing, the pass, he can throw it. If you're allowing, he'll hand it off and get us good number of box counts and make sure we're in the right run place. And if all else fails, he's a great athlete too that can make plays with his legs. So he presents a unique challenge for those defenses.
Kurt?
It looks like a much better Miami defense to be playing this time compared to maybe last year. I know new coordinator, a lot of new players. Where do you see the few big areas where they've made strides to have what looks like a more well-rounded unit, more successful unit this season?
They just gained more experience. The D lineman a year older. They added a talented freshman who was having a great season. But they got a very core nucleus of players that they've had, from the safeties and they've added some pieces that give them a little bit more experience. So I just think, very similar to, when I was going through your line, the more plays they see, the more flashes they've seen, they're getting better because their reaction time is a lot better. And they have a coordinator that understands box count. He's always going to have one more, multiple, front presentations with the bear presentation, and those guys are playing fast. If you watch their evolution from game 1 to now, their comfort level with the defense, you see them getting better. So, I think all of those factors are why they're playing at a high level.
That's one.
I don't think the more appropriate term is like luxury or ability, but do you have that in your guys' toolbox to be able to run the ball when you have to finish out a football game against a team that knows you're going to run the football and knows that you have to run the football in the game, or does having Jordan and his reliability not make that an issue for you guys?
No, there are moments in the game where you have obvious situations. We got to win obvious situations. That was like his question earlier. Third and short is an obvious situation. 2-minute drills, those are obvious situations. So you got to, put your cleats in the ground and put your eyes forward and go attack those deals when they know, and you don't have that luxury of, okay, what are they going to do? They're going to run or pass because of the balance. So those obvious situations, and you got to be able to find it. Now, having Jordan is a unique deal because he can balance the box because they have to account for him also. So the defense doesn't have to account for the quarterback. They can add another person in the run, which another person, the running back, got to break a tackle for because of course the quarterback can't block. So having him as a guy that can also pull the ball and carry the ball balances the numbers in those obvious run situations. So you see in some situations where we do utilize that, to our advantage.
All right.
Early last week, Coach Norvell talked about trying to express to the players how important it was to bring a lot of energy to practice last week. I'm guessing you guys don't have to do that much this week. How do the guys who aren't from Florida or haven't been here before, they're new to the program, they've never been in the state, how do they appreciate how important this game is and just the excitement for this game?
Yeah, even we can't dictate how practice is based off the opponent. So I think what Coach was speaking to more of was just being our best no matter who the opponent is. We need more energy no matter who we're playing. Of course, naturally, we're in this state. We recruit against each other. Most of our players on our roster were recruited by both universities. So there's always that. They got teammates, from different schools and all that. So that's why, you're going to have that different kind of energy because, a lot of our guys on our team are from down there. A lot of our, so the parents come up, there's a history. Some of the family members went to both institutions. So you always want to have that pick me up when you have a local, close game. So, especially inside the state. So I think naturally you'll have that. But our performance and practice and moving forward and everything, there's a certain standard that has to be hit no matter who the opponent is. Now, this game, how high is importance because of the history of our program, and those games are always going to be remembered, and they build legacies, and so that's always important. Coach Norvell addresses that the first part of the year and the first part before we start camp. So it is an emphasis put on this game of how important it is to our program. But at the end of the day, we got to. No matter, it's not like you could pick it up and go harder this week. If we haven't prepared all the days before this point, it's just words, it's not action. So hopefully our preparation and our lessons and our adverse moments have brought us to this point where we've seen the lessons and learned and gotten better, and his coaches and players were able to go apply those lessons in games like this.
Coach, can you talk about the offensive line rotation from this past weekend? It seemed like less than KJ played about half the snaps than the starters did, while JB played the entire game.
Yep. You know, I think that's just how it unfolded this game, to be honest. You know, we went with Darius early because of his experience, because we knew, giving respect to Pat's head coach and defensive coordinator, they were going to have a couple of wrinkles, and they did. You know, they were bringing the inside pressure. They gave us a problem with the GT counter. So they had some things that earlier, you know, I went with the experience of guys that have been out there, and so they can kind of sort it out and kind of get the bearings done. So when they come to the sideline, I could present them how they're attacking us. And once those other guys are getting the information, the rotation happens a lot smoother. So I think we went with those guys because of the matchup and experience. And JB's got a lot better. I mean, he has really improved and used the season to, you know, step up his game. And that's why, you know, earlier I had no worries, because as much as those flash and experience he gained at playing this level, I know he's going to be a dominant player, and he has a lot of upside. So he still has a long way to go, but I'm pleased with his progress, and he earned the right to be out there the whole time.
We'll go to Ira for one last one.
I know Markeston can almost look like a left tackle. What's the key to that play, and is there a timing element to it, or like how do you guys get a feel for it? I know Coach Norvell's a primary play caller, but like, what's the success of that play? What's the key to the success of that play?
Yeah, the key to it is Markeston looking like a tackle. He does look like a tackle. There's no secret. When he lines up, he's about 208 pounds. He looks like Darius. I mean, let's just be honest with you, Lord bless, and all those guys. But no, timing of it, you know, it's one of those, you know, those fastball plays. We try to line up and try to catch defense with bad eyes. And, you know, a lot of these teams now are looking to the sideline for calls and trying to look at formation. So it adds another wrinkle for their eyes to make sure they're disciplined, because, you know, we got quite a few of those fastball type plays that we can get to if we see you kind of peeking a little bit. So it's just the uniqueness of the speed of the play, our players' understanding, because we work those plays every day. I mean, it's not like a trick plays to us. So it's just our timing of understanding, is it time for it? Is the defense looking to the sideline a little bit too much, trying to be formationally guess? You know, and can our players operate at a high level to get it? Because, I mean, once we caught it, you know, all our tackles like line up a receiver. They try to get one picture of them line up in a receiver stance for their profile pic. So, and I think that, you know, it's all encompassed, but our players did a good job of understanding it, and Markeston looks like a tackle. That's just the reality of it.
And then Jordan has to hit it real quick, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jordan, yeah. That's the part you have no concern over, because if he knows and he sees it, I mean, he understands what to get to. He understands not to make a bad play, a terrible day. So that's why I say sometimes a tackle for loss is better than a turnover, because we still get to end the ball with a kick, with a punt. But no, Jordan is the easy part of it, because he'll understand and have a good understanding of when it's open, when it's not, and how to make sure we either have a big play or we live to fight another play.
Okay, thanks,
All good.
Coach.
Thank you, Coach.